Hi, this is Dennis Mellon, StagesFlight Brand Manager, and today I would like to introduce you to our new hardware setup using the Intel NUC and StagesFlight control. Let me start off by showing you the hardware that is provided by Stages. First, there's the Intel NUC. There's a PoE switch. Not all PoE switches look the same, but I'll show you how this one works today. There's also the PoE wasp, which collects the data from the bikes. We also will provide various Ethernet cabling. The hardware provided by the studio or facility would be a Bluetooth keyboard. This is the one that we've recommended. It's a Logitech, has a keyboard, and also has a trackpad. For control, each facility will need to provide either an Android tablet and eventually an iPad tablet will be acceptable. Some way to project the data onto a screen or to a TV. Today I'll just be showing it on this monitor. Facilities also need to supply a hardwired network connection, an HDMI cable that will connect to the NUC and display video on your projector or TVs. And if you want to play videos or audio through the NUC, through the StagesFlight system, there'll need to be some way to connect the NUC to your stereo system. Most facilities are using a headphone jack, but Bluetooth will work as well. Okay, let's set this system up. Let's first power up the NUC. Here is the power connection. Then, let's connect the HDMI cable into the HDMI port on the back of the NUC. I'm also going to connect the audio connection to the headphone jack on the front of the NUC. Now I'm going to power up my monitor. That could be your projector or TVs as well. Now I'm going to power up the NUC. Okay, the NUC runs just like a regular desktop computer. At this time, the way that it's set up, I have no way to control my cursor or keyboard. So I'm going to take this little Bluetooth dongle. I'm going to plug it into one of the USB ports. I'm going to use my keyboard, make sure that it's turned on, and you'll see now I have access. Okay, now that's great. Now, in order to run flight on this system, I need to also network everything. So let's do that. First, I have my PoE switch. I'll need to power that up. I will plug in my PoE switch. You'll see it'll power up with the lights. There are different PoE switches that we use, but generally ports number 1 through 4 are the PoE ports. And I've been telling most facilities, just use those 4 ports, then there is never any confusion about which device to plug into which port. We'll start off by taking the Ethernet cable that is provided by the facility and connected to their router or into their network. And we'll plug that into one of the PoE ports. I'll pick port number 1. Then with another Ethernet cable, we'll plug into port number 2. and into the NUC computer. And you'll see on the back there is an Ethernet port there. And then we'll take our wasp, which is arguably the most important part of the entire setup. And we will plug our Ethernet cable into the wasp and into the PoE switch. And what we are looking for is that the green lights are lit up. They may flicker. We're also looking for some flickering down here. A red light means that the PoE wasp has power. Flickering red and orange mean that it has an IP address and it is ready to collect data from our bikes. I'm just going to leave it there. Okay. To launch the system from the desktop, you'll need the keyboard. Let's bring the cursor over to the StagesFlight shortcut. We'll double click on it. Okay. You'll use whatever your location ID is, and then you'll add your password. I also like to select Remember Password, so I don't have to add that again. And the system will launch. If you are using the NUC setup, it should automatically go to waiting to connect. And from this screen is where you would connect the control tablet. Now, I've already done a video on the control tablet, so I'm not going to go over all the details of it. But let me show you what will happen. So it'll ask for a PIN that you have created, and I would recommend you watch the other video on how to set up the tablet and the connection. I'm going to add my PIN number. I'm going to select Done and Connect. And now I'm controlling the StagesFlight experience with this tablet. Okay, let me go over a few things that may be a little bit odd. First, you're looking at it and you're like, ooh, there's the cursor right in the middle of the screen. Well, we want to move that. You're going to need to use the keyboard to do that. And just bring it over and get it out of the way. And now let's select a profile and a video. And we're ready to go. From here you can control volume.
I'm Dr. Emmett Brown. I'm standing on the parking lot at Twin Pines Mall. It's Saturday morning, October 26th,
And any other aspect.
And this is temporal experiment number 1.
And end it. Okay, that's how the system works. It's actually pretty simple. It may take a tweak or two the very first time to get everything up and running and to get all the connectivity to work, but nice and clean. Now, the question we sometimes get is, how do I get back to the desktop? And how do I control the system now that I don't have a laptop and I don't have a laptop display? Let me show you that. So we'll put the control tablet down. You'll control the computer outside of the flight system with the keyboard. The simplest way to actually close the program would be to press the Windows key, and you'll see that you do get a toolbar that pops up. You'll cursor over to the StagesFlight icon. You'll see you have two windows here. One is the instructor panel, one is the rider screen. If you want to shut down the system or get back to the desktop, you want to go to the instructor panel screen, tap on it, work your way up, close this, good, okay, and then you can shut the system down the same way we did in the past when we were tapping on the laptop, and you would select exit app. And now you are back to the desktop version. Now you are looking at this, if you have a massive screen, you're doing this on that big screen in the studio. You could always add a small screen like this up around the instructor if you wanted. You can talk to me about that if you wanted me to show you how you could do that. And for example, let's say you had videos on your thumb drive and you wanted to add them to StagesFlight. You would have your thumb drive, let's say like this one. You would plug it in to one of the USB drives on the NUC. You'll cursor over, open one of the files. You'll find that thumb drive, open it up. Let's say I'll take this one, StagesFlight Desktop. I will pull it over into my video shortcuts folder. It will copy there. I'll close it out here. I'll remove the thumb drive because this is mine and I'm going to take this home with me. And I am ready to go. Okay, so in this case, now I will go and I will relaunch StagesFlight. It will automatically go to the waiting to connect screen. I will open up my tablet. If I'm experiencing this network connection issue, and that's because I shut it down, I'll go to end, I'll say okay. If you're unfamiliar with using an Android tablet, you'll tap on this little button here that looks like it's multiple pages. I'll close it. I'll open it up again. It'll ask for my PIN. I'm not going to show you my PIN, so let me pull it over here. I'll connect. And I'm ready to go again. I do want to show you one way to avoid a problem that we've seen. So let's say that I want to go in and I want to make some changes, maybe to the StagesFlight settings. So I tap on the Windows key, I cursor down, I select the instructor panel, I close that portion of it. So now that I am in the instructor panel, and I don't know, I do anything that I want to do, doesn't matter, right? Any changes that I make here, I would save them. I hit back, and then I think, all right, I'm ready to go. And I go back and I pick up the tablet, ready to start my class, and I have this error that I lost my network connection. And I click on this, and I try to get it to reset, and it's not happening. Okay, no problem. In Dennis's video, he showed us to close it, open it again, enter the PIN, ready to go, and I press connect, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and then I get this connection timeout, and I click it again. And now I'm starting to freak out because class is about to start and I can't get access to the StagesFlight system. The problem here is that in order to connect the control to the StagesFlight NUC and to control the system, the screen has to be saying waiting to connect. So then you may think, well, now I have to restart it because that's the only way that I can get it to come back up again. Well, that's not really the case. Let's go back and grab the keyboard. Let's go up here and tap on remote. Ah, there it is. I'm going to move the cursor so it's not showing on the rider screen. Now I go back to my control tablet and I press connect, and there we go. Okay, so that little step is a problem. That's why when we restart the program, we always automatically go to the waiting to connect screen. But if you go in and make some changes to the settings or whatever you're doing there, you'll need to tap on the waiting to connect icon. All right, let me just show you something else too. Let's say your tablet has run out of power, or you can't connect, or whatever the issue is, the tablet is not working. Yes, that's a bummer, but you can still run the class. It's not perfect, but people came there for you as the instructor. So if you can get the flight system up and running, you can have a class, and we can do that. So let's get rid of the tablet. Let's say you're on this screen. Most likely, what will happen, and let me take you through all the steps. Most likely, this will be what happens. The system will have been shut down. Okay, you'll come and you will open StagesFlight. It goes to the waiting to connect screen. Let's say there's a network issue, and even though your tablet is charged, you just can't connect to it. Okay, or it's not charged, or maybe we get to the point where you bring your own tablet in, but you forgot it. So you're here and you're trying to get class started, but you have no way to control it. It's like you lost the remote control. Well, if you have a keyboard, you can still run the class. What you would do is, let's work our way over here. Let's close this waiting to connect screen. Okay, now you are looking at the instructor panel. And so is the rest of the class, because that's what they're going to see, either on your TVs or your projector. No problem. It's happened to me, and I just say, it's not going to be the regular class today. I'm having an issue with control, but we're still going to run class. So they're going to see you doing this. Still, no problem. All right, we can make it work. Not ideal, but it'll work. Let's go over. Let's select a profile. I'll do this one. Let's select a video. I'll go back to that. Oh, let's do this one. Cool. Okay. I'm going to press start. Now, two things could have happened. Let me just go over them. It's either going to switch right over to this screen and you just start teaching, or it's going to stay on the instructor panel. To make that change so that your riders see the rider screen, you're going to tap on the Windows key. You're going to cursor down to the flight icon, and you're going to select this guy. Okay, what do I want here? I got this. I'm going to bring my volume down a little bit. I don't want it on profile overview. I want it on interval zoom. Okay. Understand your riders are going to be seeing this as well. So just be quick, but don't be nervous. They're still going to get the experience that you promised them. Now I'm going to go back down, and my riders get their experience. All right, so let's think about, most likely, if I'm running an hour-long class, I have video and I have profile. I press start and I get going. But I also run an FTP test in all my classes. So after the FTP test, I am most likely going to need to pick the keyboard back up, tap on the Windows key, get over to the instructor panel, probably tap on gauges and video to get rid of the FTP results screen, and then I'll go back and I'll backtrack and get the video back up again. And we're off running again. Okay, so not the ideal situation, but we could absolutely work our way through it. And then at the end of every single class, if your riders want their results, you had better press the N button and move on from there. Okay, that's our new setup. NUC, more powerful than the laptops. The beauty of it is you can hide it in a stereo cabinet somewhere, so it's not out in the open. Control. Nice feature of Control is you can walk around with it. I've even added one of these little holders so I can put my fingers there and then I can walk around class with it in my hand. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns, and I hope to talk to you soon.